Hi, and welcome to Investment Analysis for Summer 2017. I am your host, also your instructor, Professor Nugent, who will be walking you through this online course in this introductory video to give you an idea of what's expected of you as a student in this class. The first thing I recommend for all students is let's read over announcements. And you'll see the first announcement is getting started with BUS355. Now, the first thing I always advise students to do is to watch the getting started video, which you're doing right now, which is great. Then after you watch this video, you're going to want to look over announcements. This is where I post a lot of critical information all throughout the course about what to do each week, hints about homework or information about exams coming up. So this is really the portal where I communicate with you. Now, every announcement I post, I also email to you. So get in the habit of checking your stonybrook.edu email, or forward your Stony Brook email to an account you do check on a regular basis. 3, I want you to sign up to a homework manager. We're going to go over that in a minute. And of course, I'm going to be running a stock trading competition called Market Watch. You should read the syllabus and start the course by reading Chapter 1 of the textbook and watching the Chapter 1 video lecture. That's really where a lot of your independent coursework is going to be. It's going to be reading the chapters and watching my video lectures that correspond to each chapter as the class goes by. The easiest way to make sure you get all my videos for the course is to subscribe to my YouTube channel. Here is the playlist listed below. So you can click on this or cut and paste it into a browser window, and it'll bring you over to YouTube, and you can subscribe to my playlist, and it will contain all the videos for this course in one area. Okay, so let's continue with the announcements. And the first announcement I have coming up next is My Finance Lab and Blackboard due dates. So in here, I've tried to list all your due dates so you have one area to really see everything that's due and keep up as sort of a checklist of what you need to do to complete this course. Now, I set up all of the homeworks early, so you can start working on this as soon as you want and start completing this checklist. You just have to complete each of these items before the due date. So you could, theoretically, if you wanted to start in the beginning of May, and by the time the class starts at the end of May, you may have already finished several chapters worth of work. And that could be good based on your schedule. So if you have certain weeks where you're busier, make sure that you catch up and do the work ahead of time. So for my lab, you're going to be working with chapters 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 12, and 14. So these are the chapters that we're going to be covering in the textbook, and these chapters also have corresponding homeworks in My Finance Lab. And here are the due dates. All My Finance Lab assignments are due by 11:35 p.m. on the particular day that they're due. Now, Blackboard, there's also a number of assignments in Blackboard. So I use the Blackboard assignments area for spreadsheet assignments. So for each of these chapters, I've set up a corresponding spreadsheet exercise that helps to reinforce or introduce key topics to each of the chapters, and also helps to introduce you to Excel skills or reinforce Excel, which is something you're going to need in the work field when you graduate and start to work. Okay, we also have the stock trading game, which is also a separate website, which you have to make 10 trades every week, and we have 3 exams for the course. Test 1 will start on June 9th and end on June 10th, so it starts at 1 a.m. June 9th and ends at 11 p.m. June 10th. So you have between those 2 days to pick a time to start the exam. Once you start the exam, you must finish the exam. So it's time-based. So say it's a 2-hour exam, for example. I'm not sure if that's the actual time limit. You start the exam at, say, 4 a.m. You'll have to 6 a.m. to complete. So it's completed in one sitting. And exam 2 is on the 23rd to the 24th, and exam 3 is on July 7th to July 8th. And those are the 3 exams for the course. Okay, so this is a way just to keep track of all the due dates for the class and get an idea of, you could probably even print this out and just kind of check them off as you're going through them. Now let's talk about My Finance Lab. My Finance Lab is an integrated product with the textbook. And this lab is a way to complete homework and get a lot of additional support for each of the questions you're going to complete. Additionally, with this homework, If you get a question wrong, at the end of the question, you get a chance to redo the question. So it gives you a better ability to get a perfect score in the homeworks and also learn from your mistakes. Now, the course you're going to register for is Summer BUS355 217 is our course. And what you need to do is you're going to go to My Finance Lab, or the Pearson Lab and Mastering is also a similar site. Now, this course ID is very important, so let's highlight this course ID here. We're going to need this to work on the homework manager. So let's go to the website, and I'm actually at let me just move this up a bit, myfinancelab.com. It's also can be called Pearson mylabandmastering.com. The link is in the Blackboard description here. This is the website to go to. So I go to that website, and I'm going to click on Student as if I was you. And most of you will not have an access code. You'll probably be paying with credit card. Now, what's nice about the homework manager here is that you can buy. If you buy the textbook, it should come with an access code. So if you're buying a new textbook, will you get the access code where you can log into the homework manager. If not, you can buy a standalone code to get instant access to the homework manager. In addition, you can also get the textbook, the ebook edition through the homework manager as well. So you go to OK to register now, click on that, and you put in my course ID here where it says course ID. Continue, and you'll see here this is our summer class right here. You'll see it's me, and then you'll have to either create a Pearson account, or you may already have a Pearson account from another course, and then you get started with the homework manager. So I'm just going to take 2 steps back here, and I'm going to log in with my instructor account. So I'm going to sign in and go to our course. All right. Just get okay. So in the course, when you get here, you will see. Let me just manage the view. Okay, so in the course, you'll see that you have a course home. You have assignments. So this is a very critical area. When you come into assignments, you will see a list of assignments. So I have a sample exam, if you want to get an idea of what the exams are like. And then here are the assignments. I have all of them set up from chapter 1 through chapter 14. So you can click on, so let's click on chapter 3. And we'll click on the first question. And this box will come up for chapter 3. And then it'll ask you a question in chapter 3. So we can put in an answer, and we can enter, and we see that it's incorrect. So I say, okay, it's incorrect, and then you get a chance to redo it. Now, if you're really not sure what you're doing, you can click on Question Help over here and say View an Example. So they'll give you an example with the formula. Let's move this up. They give you an example with a formula, and you can continue, and it'll build out the formula, and it will work you through the problem step by step. And that's of great help. They also have a financial calculator here, the ability to go right to the e-text pages. So if you want to see where this problem is coming from, it'll pop you. If you have purchased the e-text through the homework manager, you can get right here, and it'll bring you right to the page in e-text that problem is referring from. So this is the Dow Jones Industrial Average right here. So it brings you right to the problem, so you can read over the textbook and review if you're still not sure about the problem. So this is a great way of completing the homework. So if I go to another problem, they'll have the problem listed up here, and you start with the first part of the problem. And what's great, right away it tells you if you got it wrong. And if you got it wrong, they give you the formula to work with. And if that's not enough, like I said, you can go in and view an example of the problem. Some problems come with Sometimes some problems come with an additional, they may come with a video. There's a few problems in here that will come with a video. I'm not really getting to any of those. But a good thing to do is to view the example if you want to kind of work through the problem with a little additional help. Okay, so that's, let me just close this. Okay, so that's the homework manager when you do your assignment. So this is where you come in, and as soon as you complete your assignment, it will show you your gradebook score, your number of attempts, a very easy way to work with and maintain your homework. This is also where you're going to take your exams. So right now it's only exam, the sample exam is up. When the date comes back over here, like I said, I listed the date of the exam on June 9th at 1 a.m., the exam will appear. And then you'll see the exam underneath. There'll be a new line here. And then you just click on the exam, and it will specify the number of minutes you have left to complete the exam, so you can start the test. And it will show you there will be a clock with the remaining time. And as you enter the questions, let's shrink this a bit. Enter the question and you go through. And actually, let me just pause this for a second. Okay, I actually changed some parameters on here to make it more like your actual exams. So in your actual exams, you'll have we'll actually have one attempt. I gave 10 attempts here in case you wanted to kind of go back and forth in this. But here we have one attempt. So we're going to start the exam. And here you'll see, you'll get, this is a true or false. So you'll enter your true question. And it will say the time remaining. So you submit that. So I'm just going to submit true or A for these questions to go through. And this is what will appear with sort of what you take a test. Some of the questions could be fill in the numbers. And these will be very similar to the homework problems you work on. The homeworks, you'll see them again on the exam as well. Something very similar. So let me just stick to my rationale here. And this is question 8, question 9. And finally, question 10. So then when you finish the test, you get to the last question. You can't move forward anymore. But what's nice is you can always move backwards. So if you wanted to go back to a question, sometimes you answer a question and something else you remember, you can always go back. Or if there's a question that's going to take you a really long time, maybe you want to skip it, answer all the true-false questions, and then go back and do some of the problems if you have more time. And then when you're at any point when you're ready and you've answered all the questions, you click on Submit Test. Once you submit the test, you'll get your score, the time spent on the exam, and then you'll get a list of questions, what you got right and what you got wrong. Now, when you take your exam, you're only going to see your score right away. I'm going to wait till the exam is complete before releasing what you got right and what you got wrong. And also, your initial score may change slightly if I give some points back based on questions that may be incorrect or misrepresentative of what we're trying to do with the exam. So your score will only change higher, but so don't get too panicky if you get a score that it most likely would go up once I review the exam. Okay, so that's an example exam. So let's go back to the main menu. Now you can also review your results. Go to the Pearson e-textbook, and they have a financial calculator. So this homework manager has a couple of different tools you can work with during the course of the class. So you want to go ahead and set up the homework manager. The one thing I do not recommend is do not set up the temporary access. Pay for the homework manager right away, because I have had a number of students in the summer class set up temporary access and then have problems later on when they try to convert it to permanent access. Also, when you set up temporary access, I don't see any of your work or that you're in the class. You're like invisible to me until you actually, and that's a way that Pearson makes sure that you pay for it, because your grades won't be released to me until you actually pay for it. So I always recommend that you just go ahead up front and pay for it. And if you want to save some money, you can get the e-edition textbook at the same time when you have the homework manager, if you don't mind having an e-text rather than the physical text. Okay, so let's move on to the stock market game. So here's a free simulation. That's good news, right? And in this simulation, we're going to be working with a stock market simulator that works with real stock market data. So what's happening in the stock market, this is 20 minutes delayed, however, but it's working with real prices and real data from the stock market. I've created 2 videos for previous classes about how to work with the stock market simulator, how the mechanics, the trading, some ideas of stocks to buy in 2 different videos here that I recorded for 2 previous classes. So the only thing you have to know is that since these are recorded for previous classes, the usernames and passwords and game names will be different than what we're working with, because we're working with a brand new game. So just keep in mind when you're watching these videos, it's just for the information of how to play the simulation, not for actual login game names or passwords. Now, this is a 40-point assignment. You must make 10 trades a week from May 30th to July 7th. So that's 6 weeks, 10 trades a week, 60 trades for the game. And a trade is a buy or a sell. So you buy a stock and then you sell a stock. That's 2 trades. And it could be you could buy IBM, sell IBM, buy IBM again tomorrow or later that day and sell it again. That would be 4 trades. And the student with the highest return earns 1 point of extra credit. And now the simulation isn't really about who makes the most money. It's really about who gets the best experience from it. So trading stocks in this environment, making money, losing money, is going to teach you some really good lessons about how hard or maybe easy it is to make a fortune or lose a fortune in the stock market. And I give you plenty of money to start with when you're making your trades. So you just have to go in there and just get some experience. And that's what this is, a learning by doing assignment. And it's very fun and exciting. Most students really just love it. Now, to register for it, I have the instructions here to register. You just click on this URL and it'll bring you into the game. So one word of warning though, if you don't have an account, it's going to bring you to a login page. So if you're not logged, I'm already logged in, but if you're not logged in, it's going to ask you to register. So you click on register here, and it's just a quick little synopsis of you put in your username, first name, last name, email, create a password, confirm your password, and register for the site. It's fairly simple and it's free. Once you're registered, when you click on that link, you'll get to this page here, and you would put in your password. For our game, it's BUS355, and you would click on join, and then you would join the game. So now I'm in the game, I can actually do my trading. I can come in here, and they have nice links on how to buy stocks, cheap stocks to buy, just a couple of different things. These are sponsored links to give you some information about the game. You're going to have $1 million to trade with as a budget, and the game starts. I'm starting it in April. You can join whenever you want, and when you go, so right now, let's see, as far as trading, it's after hours right now, so I'm not going to be able to trade. Okay, and then here in your portfolio, you could check your holdings, your performance, orders, and transactions. You could click on ranking, you see the class ranking. You could also click on here to make trades. We're not using the discussion button. These videos will be a little bit more detailed about how to work with the student stock market simulation game, and it's really fun. So remember, this is the link to join. This is the password. Number 2 is the password for the game, BUS355, and you just click that join now button. Once you have, if you don't have an existing MarketWatch account, you can create one, and then come back here and click on this link once you're logged in, and you can get in and create your game. And a lot of students really appreciate this. Is where a lot of good learning comes in the game, in the class, is in the stock market challenge. And if you do very well and you like trading stocks and you find yourself making a lot of money here, you may actually have stumbled upon a talent or an interest or a passion for a possible future career. Okay. Moving on to the next announcement is the class schedule overview. So in here I put in for week 1, we're going over chapters 1 and 2, including this overview. Week 2, we're going to be doing chapters 3 and 4. Week 3, we're going to be doing chapters 5 and 6. Week 4, we're going to be doing chapters 7 and 8. And just remember that in week 2, we have our first exam. And in week 4, we have our test 2. Week 5, we go over chapters 9 and 12. Week 6, we do chapter 14, and the third test on July 7th to the 8th, and covering these chapters. So that is the overview of the course. Now, A very important message about this class is late assignments. I do allow you to do your, I put all the assignments, they're all open and available to work on early, but I will not accept any late assignments. So if you're the type of student who constantly has issues come up with work or your family, or problems with your boyfriend or girlfriend that prevent you to do your work, or issues with your internet, make sure you do your assignments early, so that way if you do run into a problem, you can just finish it the next day. Now, because I am very strict about this, I will not accept any late assignments for the homeworks. And the reason is, if I accept one student's late assignment, ethically I'll be bound to accept every student's late assignment for the whole semester. So it's too crazy for me to keep up with that in a 6-week course. So no late assignments will be accepted. If you wound up missing an assignment and you email me saying, hey, I missed the assignment, please accept this, or can I please have a second chance, I most likely will not even email you back, because I've already made it quite clear that there are no late assignments to be accepted. And really, I wish I had the time and the ability to accept all the late assignments in the world. It's just not going to happen for this course. Now, as the class goes on, each week I'll send you an email, and I'll also post an announcement welcoming you to the new week. And then I'll outline what you need to do that week, which chapters you should be reading, which homeworks you should be working on. I'll give you links to the chapter lectures. I also give you links to help for the homework Excel assignments. So there are some Excel assignments in this class that can be a little tricky. So I do record a series of YouTube videos that will help you through these Excel homeworks. And I'll also give you little reminders about, for week 1, to sign up for the simulation, to register for My Finance Lab. So I try to help you out each week with an organizational announcement of what you should be working on and what's going to be, what things that are due for that week. Okay, so those are the announcements. So let's move on to the course documents. In the course documents, I have the spreadsheet answer keys. So after you complete the spreadsheet homework assignments, I will post an answer key that you can review your work and kind of see what you did right, what you did wrong, the formulas I used, and you sort of a self-assessment for each student. After you complete your assignment, you can go back in and double check the answer key to see how you did. Let's just click on the syllabus real quick. So for the syllabus, this is an online class. The easiest way to reach me is through email. We're using the Fundamental of Investment textbook with the Pearson with My Finance Lab and the Pearson e-textbook. So if you buy the full package, you'll get the physical book, the e-textbook, and the My Finance Lab access card. And that's if you buy it through the Amazon Stony Brook website. But you could also purchase the ebook and My Finance Lab together by clicking on this link here, which is the My Finance Lab site that we had talked about in the announcements. So read over the syllabus. I'll talk about the learning objectives, the course objectives, the methodology I use for teaching the class, some of the topics we'll be going over, some of the tools I'll be using to teach this course, your responsibilities as a student, and the grading section. Each test is 100 points. The stock trading is 40 points. The spreadsheet assignments are 50 points, and the My Finance Lab homework assignments are 110 points. Altogether, the class is 500 points. Now, if you divide your points by 5, you'll get be able to kind of convert your points into a letter scale. So if you had 500 points, you divide by 5, you have 100 points, which is an A for the course. And again, I just repeat the weekly course schedule in here and file some additional information about disabilities, academic integrity, and critical incident management parts to round out the syllabus. So in this video, I'm not going to be going over and reading the whole syllabus to you. You should go back. I want you to go back in and read over the syllabus to get an idea of how this course is put together and some basic information. And then remember, the homework manager access code is in the announcements or the assignments key. It's not actually in the syllabus. Okay, so that is the course documents. Of course, I also have the PowerPoints in a separate menu called PowerPoints. These are the PowerPoints for the course, and the chapters here. See, we'll have chapter 1. They're not in order. I'm having trouble trying to put them in order, but you could read the code is at the end it's C04, C08, which stands for Chapter 4, Chapter 8, and Chapter 2 is actually listed out as Chapter 2 here. And then the assignments. So you click on assignments, and I'll say the first thing I said, you need to go to My Finance Lab Homework Manager. There's a lot of assignments there. And okay, actually, all right. So you want to go to, and to get, if you forgot, under announcements is where I post the My Finance Lab information and the course ID for My Finance Lab. Okay, going back to assignments. Here is the first Excel assignment. So what you do to complete this Excel assignment, just click on the link here. This is Chapter 1 Excel, and it's based on taxes. You click on that. It will download the file. So I'm going to open up the Excel file. And if you don't have Excel, you get this free from Stony Brook. You go to the Stony Brook website. They give you Microsoft Office for free, both for Mac and PC. You can also use the virtual sync site. If you want to access Excel, you can access it through the virtual sync site. So we come here into Excel, and I'm going to talk about some problems, and I want you to answer these problems I've listed here. And this handout only has one page for you to work on. Some handouts may have multiple tabs, or sheet 2. This to work on. So just remember that you want to look at, if there are multiple tabs down here, that you're going to be let me just make this. Okay, so there are multiple tabs, so you want to, this first assignment has one tab, but there are some spreadsheets that will have multiple tabs. So then you work on your assignment, you complete it and save your assignment. So you would click save, and then you would save your assignment. Just minimize this. And then when you're ready to submit it to me, you click on this link here, and then it'll tell you how many points it's worth, and it'll also give you again the due date. I also have I give you links to the homework help files, and you would just click here, browse my computer, to attach your file. So you just click on browse my computer. Just remember where you saved your file. You attach your file and then click submit, and you have submitted your spreadsheet to me. Now, an important thing is I do have a playlist called Investment Worksheet Class Handouts. So if you click on this, and this is really essential to a lot of the, here is the handout. So let me just mute this. So in this is the handout we were working out. So in this is a video lecture where I actually go over how to complete the handout step by step. So this will be sort of your instructions, and also walk you through how to complete the handout for each. And you see here in the playlist, each of the chapters, spreadsheets that we're working on has a corresponding video to help you understand what I'm expecting for you to do, and give you a big helping hand in completing this assignment. So this is actually my YouTube channel here, and in my YouTube channel, to make things easier, you should subscribe by clicking the subscribe button to the channel, and you can go under playlists, and then in playlists you can see here's the investment worksheets. You'll find the investment class 330, as well as you can also peruse. I have other courses in here if you're interested. Feel free. But that is one of the resources I use to help. I also house all the visual lectures there. So YouTube is something. I picked YouTube because that's something everybody can use on their phone, tablets, PCs, Macs. There's never an issue with the compatibility with YouTube. So that's why I house all of the videos for the course in YouTube. So when you're doing these Excel assignments, it would probably be very useful to watch the video before or during when you're working on the assignment. So here I house, I also have a reminder for the stock trading game in here as well, and all of the Excel homeworks all the way up to chapter 14 are in here. Here is chapter 9 and 12 are linked together into one file, and this is a good example of how I will have multiple tabs. So So here you'll see this is one tab, click here for another tab, click here for another tab. Oh, this is really, the view is kind of big here. Okay, so these are just all, and here's a little, your first Excel hint. Make sure you click on Enable Editing if you want to edit these files. And you can see with this file, I actually give you the formulas and examples I expect you to complete. And then you complete everything, like I said, you save and upload these files to Blackboard by clicking on this link and then clicking on Browse My Computer and clicking Submit to submit your file to me. Okay, so those are the assignments. Under discussion boards, I'm not doing weekly discussion boards. A lot of online classes have been doing them to death, and students are just like really tired of discussion boards, so I'm not including them anymore in this class. It just was kind of a waste of time. However, the one thing that was useful was questions about the course. So in here, when you click on here, you want to click on, if you want to ask me a question about, here's an example, Excel homework submission. Someone would say, where do we submit the Excel assignments? And I'll respond, you attach your file under the assignments on the assignment menu on Blackboard. So as an example, very useful. If you want to, you're able to create a new, let me just go back to discussions here. You can go on Create Forum, or let's see if you create it in here, Create Thread. So you can click on Create Thread to create a new question. You could just say new question, whatever your question is, you get the idea. And then you can ask the question here. Hi, how old am I? As an example, submit. And then your new question gets logged here, and then I will see it and I'll respond to it. Or if you see another student that posts a question that you know the answer to, feel free to go in and answer the question for me. I would really appreciate it because I can't get to all of the questions immediately. So if by clicking, you'll see here when you go in, you'll see the subscribe button. You can click subscribe here, and then you'll be able to get emailed any questions that students post, and all my replies will come to you automatically. So, and of course, tools. When you go into tools, this is where you can check your grade, and calendar or my grades, we can check your grades. There's a couple other things. Look, there's also Pearson's Lab and Mastering in here too, if you want to access it through here. So there are some various tools on here. Okay, so that is basically my 30-minute review of investment analysis for summer 2017. So I hope you've watched this video to the end. I think you're really prepared now. So go back to Blackboard and start working on this getting started list of things to do. And remember, the class, I'm opening the class early so you can get started with this course early if you'd like to. That way you can start getting in the habit of doing assignments early, so you'll never be in a situation where you miss an assignment or are late submitting an assignment, because remember, as you know, I don't accept any late assignments. Okay, thank you for your time. I hope we have a wonderful summer together, and I have a feeling you're really going to like this course, and good luck.